about Mega is back. Yes, sir. All right. You just saw the last interview with an awesome creator, right, and director of an awesome film named Midnight Rose. But guess what? Now we got another awesome director, creator here. I mean, graphic artist. I mean, he does it all, this guy. He's amazing. Glad to introduce the one only Adrian Bobb. What's popping, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us, man. I checked out your film earlier, and I was like, wow, man. I was like, this is so cool. I was digging it, man. I want to see this on TV.
Awesome. So do I. I feel like that's obviously the goal, and it came from a lot of ideas. So I'm glad that people are seeing a piece of it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, actually. So, and very creative on your part. So kudos to you on that. But before we get into all that goodness, a little bit about yourself, Adrian, man. Where you hailing from?
Yeah, so I'm here in Toronto, Ontario. I'm born and raised Canadian. Been all over the country, east, west, everything in between. And spent some time in Montreal, but Toronto's kind of where all my family is. I love it here. And yeah, that's kind of my environment.
Okay, and I always like to get into the roots of fandom and geekdom. So what are your early roots into fandom and geekdom? Like, what was it that sparked you as a kid?
Yeah, so I mean, I was totally raised on everything from the '90s, early '90s, late '80s. Terminator 2 especially is still kind of like, that's everything to me. That was my first big film that really was just like, oh, this is what you can do with movies. You could make these incredible action scenes, but also something that had so much depth and backstory and really had something to say. My dad and I, movie nights were just the things that got me into everything. So Predator. I shouldn't have been watching any of these when I was a kid, by the way, but I did. RoboCop. Those kind of like those were my Aliens. All of that stuff I was raised by those movies, and it set me on a course where everything I loved had to do with science fiction or science in general. And then when The Matrix came out in '99, I was in between 12 and 13. And I think that was just the best age to watch that movie because it hit me in a way where I wasn't expecting it. I saw it opening day, but I didn't expect it to be a great movie. It was just, my dad was like, hey, you want to go see a movie? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's see what's out. There's this movie, The Matrix commercial looked kind of cool. I don't know much about it. The theater was, modestly empty. It was a rainy day. Went to go check it out, and I don't think I've ever had a theatrical experience quite like that in my life. It blew me away. It had so many ideas. I didn't expect anything from it. That was the year that Star Wars Episode 1 came out. So everyone was looking at that movie and being like, that's the movie that's going to blow everyone's minds. And then I saw that movie already, and then I saw this, wasn't expecting it. And I missed that. I haven't had a movie like that where it's like you don't know anything about it going in, and you walk out changed. And that's what that movie is for me.
And I agree, man. That's an awesome experience. Man, a lot of people are going for it. You know what I mean? And you're going for it here too, because this has a little nice wow factor to it. Because like you, I am a Terminator buff.
Yeah,
a Matrix buff. I mean, I could see the worlds of the Matrix and Terminator tying in so easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all right. So I'm with you, Will. You and me are from the same world. I mean, I'm of older generation because you said you were 12, 13 when Matrix came out. Bro, I was in my late 20s. Holy shit. Gee, thanks. Made me feel so old now.
Didn't mean to. We're all getting there. So
I died anyway. So, All right. Actually, we're talking about the film, man, and there's a lot of stuff I want to cover here because this is a really cool film. So, folks, check out this little short trailer for Adrian's short film, EXT.
We are not as we were. You and I are abominations. We are all abominations.
Wow, bro. Fire, 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 fire. That looks so fantastic. And let me bring this up too, man. We gotta start talking about this. that was badass, Adrian.
Oh,
Look at just the character design. Love it. All right. And we are not as we were. So, as I show off some of these goodies over here, that's the movie poster, what world is this? Well, what's going on?
Sure. So just like the trailer said, it's the distant future, about 300 years into the future, and all of humanity has uploaded their minds into a digital world. They've all immigrated into this world. The real world just got too chaotic, too intense, so everyone sought refuge in this digital world. By the time our story comes into place, there's 2 new generations that were born in this digital world. So we went into this digital world. We still are people. We still wanted kids. So we wrote programs that worked like kids. They grew up, they're adults, but now they live there. They're born there. And the problem is the people that first moved into this world don't die. So there's now 3 generations that are all trying to vie for power. And the younger generations can't, because the older generations still hold on to everything they have. So it kind of leads into this civil war between these 3 different generations, which are now like their own people, because no one moves on, no one leaves space for the younger generation. So I wanted to do a story about this generation fight in this digital world that bleeds out into the real world. So the real world is now just hyper-natural. It's the wilderness. It's completely consumed by nature, and someone attacks their system from the outside. So the main character in this case, Aegis Minamoto, it has to go outside and repair it. But in order to do that, she needs to put together a team, 4 other different robots, other different people to go inside robot bodies and fix it from the outside.
All right, so they connected to the robots from within somewhere else. So
yeah,
okay, awesome, fire. And look at the designs here. So what's going on here, bro? This is pretty fire.
Yeah, so this is the main character, Aegis Minamoto. In the digital world, she's the daughter of the person that created the world itself, KYM Minamoto. And in the short, we actually see a conversation between the 2, because the older Kim also has some suspicions of being behind this attack from the outside. And Aegis works for the security system inside, so she's kind of fighting her mother on the inside, and then on the outside, this is what Aegis looks like. This is her robot. Each robot is based off of the character that from the inside the digital world. And they're all driving a robot, essentially, that caters to their style. So Aegis is very much a close combat, very kind of calculated, up close kind of character. So she designed her robot to be the same sort of thing. So she fights close combat. It's a weapon that's designed to kill drones. It's called Kusanagi, based off of the mythological Japanese weapon of the gods. And she essentially uses that to disable stabbing and then sending an EMP shock into the drone to disable it.
Yeah, that was pretty badass too, man. You see it in action in the film, folks. I mean, it's pretty... and these bad boys, man, they reminded me. I don't know if you're like an Excalibur fan of comic books from the,
Oh, I know about them. Yeah,
war dog, the chrome-looking war dogs. That's kind of what they reminded me of. They're creepy. So what are these bad boys?
Yeah. So in the real world, because there's no one really that's a threat. They still have security drones. They're pretty basic. They're not too advanced, but they act kind of like animals. And essentially, they just defend all of the key resource systems for the digital world. So the digital world still has hardware, right?
Yeah.
And these really massive server towers that are spread out throughout mostly the northern hemisphere. And these guys, and then there's a few bigger machines too, defend that system and defend it from the outside against any aggressors. But whoever made this attack from the outside took over a huge amount of these guys. So they're in the way of our heroes, and they're the big antagonists that the characters have to fight in the real world.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. I love the design, man. I mean, that's wild right here. But with that Rambo knife on the tail.
Yeah. I designed them based off of Boston Dynamic. There's the robot company. I'm sure everyone's seen those robot dog commercials they had. I wanted something very kind of basic, but still had a bit of animal quality in them. So they felt like, you know, these rough, wild animals.
Yeah, well done, brother. Well done, man. And this too, man. This is very, very nice visuals, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the digital world. This is what the interior world looks like. And, you know, it's because it's designed by people, it's meant to look very beautiful. So it's very different from the Matrix, where the Matrix is trying to look kind of a bit more like mundane and industrial. Yeah, this is designed like it's sunset all the time. Like everything's beautiful, colorful. You know, it's made by people, so it would be a place that people would want to live.
There she goes.
Yeah. So this is the antagonist of the whole world, or the whole story, and she's the creator of the system originally. So Kim is over 200 years old. She's one of the first generation that well, she created the system, but also moved in eventually and uploaded herself into this. And she feels a little wronged by what the system has become. She designed it to be kind of this, not utopia, but a place where everyone can kind of be who they want to be and change themselves from the real world. Because she thought
already clear one type point feel. Like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now she feels like it's kind of gotten away from her original vision, and she wants a restart. She wants to return things back to the way they were. But of course, she's had a daughter since then, and that's Aegis. And the two of them have to kind of reconcile that, you know, mother-daughter relationship, which is kind of what the whole story is based around. I mean, it's about generations, but the generation gap between herself and Aegis is really the core of the story.
Right. What that real world looks like now?
Yeah, so this is the real world. It's I mean, a lot of people just up and abandon everything, but the things that still run are these towers here. So I was talking about the server towers that are in the real world. This is one of 12, and they're massive, kilometer-tall structures, and all they do is just compute. They're geothermal energy run. They don't need a crew. It's all automated. So no one has to be there. But these are the facilities that run the computing power necessary to keep the digital world running.
Gotcha. And there she is. Is that like a power set when that shows up?
Yeah, so this is kind of the insignia of the group that she's created. Wow. They call themselves the Vitruvian Men, based a little bit off of Leonardo da Vinci's famous drawing of the Vitruvian Man. So they use that symbol as kind of this concept that humanity has to be a certain way, that they need to fulfill the structure, the organic body to be human, which is something that a lot of the older generation believes, but it's not something a lot of the younger generation believes, because of course they were born in this digital world. They didn't have a choice, but they still, believe that they're human, rightfully so. So there is a clash there between, what humanity was and what it is and can be.
Yeah, that's deep. Again, last night I was watching some alien show on some channel on Plex, and they were talking about how aliens are not aliens, but rather time travelers from our future that are just.
Yeah.
Oh man, what? I'm like. I like that. Well, I know I'm baked, but I can't be this baked. You know what I mean? and there goes the bad boys. Yeah, man, they really look crazy. Man, ain't no way I would step up to something like this. Huh?
Yeah, so these are kind of the big guys out there. So most of the main infantry of the kind of dog-like, the wolves, drones. The big ones are called Grizzlies, and they're meant for taking out large, tanks, aircraft, anything that's a little too above the little guy's pay grade. They come out and take care. And this is one of the big guys that is very, very difficult for Aegis and even her whole team to confront.
Gotcha. You know what? If this world needs so much security, then so I might still assume that there are fractions of a organic humanity that still exists somewhere in this world.
I don't know. It's a big mystery in this story, but
you're bugging me out like, oh, the security. Wait a minute. This all right. Like, wait a minute, man. I mean, it ain't gonna be just raw. It's got to be even more, going on here. Then, all right, bet. I like it. You sicko. You're gonna get me. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful scene right here. Two of them running. For real.
Yeah. So this is a scene where the two members of the team, Aegis being one of them, they're running away from they just stirred up the hive, and the drones are after them. They're running through the fields. The stuff that you see in the background there, I actually designed them based off of CO2 filters. There's like a new technology, so it's kind of like the remnants, the last push to save the environment from humanity, and it didn't quite work out. But all of their ruins are kind of in the woods, and nature is just kind of growing back around everything,
consuming everything.
Yeah.
Look at these colors and just how they look. Fire.
Yeah, so that was one thing I really wanted to do with each robot, is really bring out their personality, and obviously they all have their color scheme to make it easy to tell who's who. To the left we have Aegis there, which we saw before. To the right is a character named Cancer, and she's kind of a wild card. She's the youngest person of the group, so she's of the early, like the new generation. And she has a lot of rules that don't work for the older generation. They don't like her at all. She likes to, be multiple people at the same time. She changes her appearance every day. She has a very loose understanding of what the real world is. But she also is pretty good at giving us a reason why. She says, why not? We can. It's what we do. I was born here. This is what I am, and I'm human just like everyone else. So she's a bit of a wild card in the group, but she's fun to watch.
Yeah, man. Gas dance.
Yeah.
That's great. Beautiful design, man. And that conversation you spoke of earlier, here's a little imagery there. Oh yeah, bro. I can't wait till y'all see this scene. Please, you guys gotta know when GeekFest coming around. I'm talking about GeekFest before we move on any further, right? I mean, they show some love to GeekFest,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is some great stuff. Again, folks, you already saw before. They showed you. Look what I'm showing you now. This is fire. I'm telling you. But you want to know where you could go to watch all these. Boom, folks. Go over to the site right there, geekfestival.com, so you can check out this awesome movie. Not just this movie, of course, there's so many others,
So
man.
many awesome stuff.
There's a lot of great stuff that, what do you think, man? Have you seen some of the selections and whatnot? Have you perused and seen what's popping?
Oh, yeah. I've been able to just kind of browse and just keep because the fun thing about all festivals too is just not really knowing what to expect, right? Like it's just being surprised. So I've been able to just go check out a bunch of different things that we're streaming and get a chance to meet some of the creators. It was a blast.
Yeah, man. How do you feel of not being able to have, at least for now, a live event.
I mean, yeah, like
reaction.
Yeah, so I mean, I was lucky enough that when we started our festival run, we did have some live action showing. Yeah, so we were able to make our big debut at LA Shorts Film Festival, and we've on Toronto, obviously, we were able to have it. A few other locations, and then of course, COVID hit and everything became digital. So it's still been great to still find a way to meet a lot of the filmmakers. But I do miss the showing in an audience, of course. That's always a great feeling.
What was the experience like when you first showed this movie to an audience? How did you feel? What did you see?
I mean, I always feel nervous, right? Because it's always a great, like, you see the seats fill up, you're seeing all these people, but I think, I'm usually always very hyper aware of what everyone is doing whenever I'm in a showing like that. But when I got to see it on the screen and you had the sound and you had the picture and it was just booming, it was almost new for me. So I was kind of just like, this is pretty fun. This is actually a really cool thing to watch and cool, movie to check out. So it was, and then of course afterwards the audience coming back are like, ooh, they had so many great questions. And they're like, where's it going after this? What's the next thing happening? And that's exactly what I wanted to happen with this is I wanted everyone to just get excited for what this world has to offer, because I did create it very much as a world. And this is just the first step into it.
Excellent. So now, all right, great. So let's get into it for a second. Hopefully you could tease a little bit, but now that this is done, this is out there touring, when can we expect more, if at all?
So, well, I mean, at the moment, literally right now, I'm gearing up for a different sci-fi project. It's different from this world, but it's a sci-fi horror, which is kind of the new place for me, and I'm really excited for that project. It's called The Foreman. So we'd hopefully like to get that ready to go for the next, probably fall, but it's also a short. For EXT, we're gearing up on a few other shorts to come after. And right now we're in talks with a few other people. I can't say which exactly, but I'm really, really excited. We're going to bring it into a larger format. Right now I'm working with a few really, really talented people to format it as a television show. So, it's with this short, everything I drew, I designed everything from the beginning. It's great to finally have other people be a part of that and give their input and write out a full season of stories in this world.
Yeah, brother, I definitely see this as a television show. I would be addicted, but I don't want you to do it as a binge. I like the old school, back to new school format of, one a week. Keep us waiting. Yeah. Like I said, I want to know, is there more of an outer world here? Because there's just too much defenses. What are they so concerned about?
Yeah.
So now I'm curious a lot more about this. And this scene, though, there's also the technology behind the robots. It's like, okay, so if they're in this digital world, who's making these robots? How are they designing them? Who's maintaining them really physically? Because somebody's got to maintain them physically. You can't tell me they. Yep. So this is so many questions now.
And they're good ones. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm curious. And then, you have so many right here. You got the 5 right here.
Yeah. So this is, this is when I first thought about this idea, I literally had the idea of 7 samurai with robots. That's what I was first thinking of. I just thought, wouldn't it be cool to do a movie where you have that old school, like Kurosawa was so good with his films, with his environments and his environment. He sold nature so well. Like they're always telling a story with his movies. And I was just like, what if you had that, but then you added that sci-fi twist on it? And, it was the same basic idea where it's like, you have a team of people from different generations all coming together to defend their home. And I was just thought there was something so universal about that story that if I could make it, in an up-to-date, more modern kind of setting, that would be such a cool thing to watch and to see. So that was the beginning of this whole world and whole story. And This is very much that shot. This is the Seven Samurai shot.
I love it, man. And who else is part of your team? Just before we go, I want to keep you much longer. But how did you find your team, man? How that all work out? Because this can't just be a one-man show, of course.
Oh yeah, no, I've been working in the VFX industry for over almost 15 years now.
Oh,
and it's and through that time I've made so many fantastic connections with different artists that are just super talented, and the whole thing with all VFX is it's always such a great team effort. And then on the actors side, this is Kara G. Everyone probably knows her from The Expanse. She's amazingly talented. So is our our antagonist for the film, Zoe Doyle. She plays Kim. We were so lucky. We had a great audition cycle, and the two of them just did such a great a job, and to see them working off of each other was just a fantastic thing to do. So overall, it was a fairly skeleton crew. We didn't have a huge team, but we were able to just take what little we had and just really kind of be smart about it. Think about the shots really, really early on. I was building a lot of the robots even before we were filming. So it was very much kind of this, just play it smart, do all our stuff soon, quick and simple. And you'd be amazed of how much money you can save when you're filming that way.
And you get a great product too at the end of the day out of that. A great looking product. You see all my questions and I have more, but I don't think we have the whole day.
Yeah. But that's good. I'd rather keep them wanting more, as they say.
Yeah, but it's a great job, Adrian, man. I can't wait to see that horror movie because, again, everybody's doing something horror, which is great. I'm a big horror fan, so I'm looking forward to see what all your creative minds are up to, man. Because, again, with this something like this, I can't wait to see what else you got popping. Okay, so, you did mention a lot of your sci-fi stuff that you enjoy before we go. So, since you are doing something like in the sci-fi horror, what is your ideal horror movie? What's your number one?
You know what? I in the last few years, I really loved Annihilation. I know it's not really horror, but there's some fantastic horror moments in that movie. And it's got this beautiful horror, right? Where it's like you're looking at something and it's like, that is disturbing, but it is terrifying. And it's beautiful at the same time. And I mean, I got to go back to the original Alien. Okay. Alien, that movie is, and I mean, even the first Terminator was kind of a horror film.
Oh yeah,
a lot more than it was an action movie. And I think both of those movies, they deal with horror in such a great way because it's the stuff you don't see. It's the stuff you don't know. And it's you put people in a situation where it's like, have fun trying to stop this thing, and you have no understanding of how to stop it or what it is. But by the end, you have a better idea. And I love that kind of sense of mystery. And I want to push that for this project coming up 100%.
And actually, Sixth Element agrees with you. Annihilation was fire.
Absolutely. Oh, so underestimated.
Excellent. So, Adrian, man, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about your awesome film that's on tour this year, GeekFest Year 8. Again, GeekFest FilmFest, go to geekfestla.com so you can check out this awesome movie, so you can know when to check it out, actually. Amongst, Adrian's film, amongst many other awesome creators. This is a great film. You saw the trailer, you saw the stills. Come on now. See how awesome Adrian is? He's definitely a man after my heart, because with the sci-fi and the horror, man, yeah, man, we're in tune. Here's why I think that's why I really dug this, man. You're doing something that, I think, we enjoy the same stuff. So I see the direction you're going in there, and much luck and bless on this. I hope you do have a TV show. And once you do, can you please come back so we can talk about all the awesome episodes that you're going to be doing? I would love to. That'd be a blast. But actually, when you do this horror film, I would also love you to come back then so we could, talk about that, especially during the time when it's going to come out. Let's do it, kiddo. You're more than welcome to come back. I definitely want some people onto horror. Absolutely. No, thank you for your time. So again, folks, please visit Adrian's website, adrianbobb.com. All right. Keep up to date on the film right here on Instagram and on Twitter. All right. Do it up. Show some love. Support GeekFest FilmFest LA. I'm telling you, it's the business. And with that, I'm Al Mega. Thank you again for tuning in. Huepa. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites in the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.